Okay, guys, so let's start. Okay, first I'll start with my introduction. My name is Kaleem, and I am basically a front-end developer. React is basically just a JavaScript library, just like any other library. React is built to focus mainly on the UI side of it. Okay, it doesn't focuses on how the binding works, right? Two-way binding works, modules and other thing. Basically, if you want to just focus on your front end development and right get away from all the complexities of the development, React is the uh, uh, React library suits you. Okay, so earlier, right, when I have observed like people decide based on the project, right, we decide what type of project we are working on, right, then we decide which library suits that project. Like like if it's a very huge project like a banking project, maybe Angular is a good option for that. It's like a framework. If you're working on something which where time to market is more important, right? Then I think library like React is more suited because you can quickly develop a prototype and you can just present it to your client and get approval. Okay, so if you want to work on something and you want to deliver something quickly, React is the option. Like it is a go-to place for you. Okay, so let's get started. One more thing, like when I say introduction, right? Introduction means like we'll go and see the positive side of the React. There are some problems which you will experience, but that's we'll keep it for some later. Okay, so when we start any learning any technology, right, or we start something new, so mainly the okay, so mostly you'll find any learning as a circle. So you start anywhere, say you start here, you'll always feel that something is missing because you, right, there's something which always be missing, right? So you need to start your select your starting point and just get started. And as you go along, right, you will learn all the things, right? So at the start you might feel something is difficult, but it's just a matter of understanding that concept. Once you know the concept and how things work behind the curtains, things will be very easy for you for the development. Same thing is true for React too. Okay, so so when we uh, talk about React, right, the one thing which you need to understand before we even get started, React uses something called as JSX. Okay, what is JSX? JSX is same as say XML or HTML markup language, right? Um, which is again extended from ECMAScript, right? It's like so the reason why React uses JSX, right? Because it want to uh, encapsulate the logic like a JavaScript with UI, right? Because you can write a very small component where you have JavaScript as well as you have JSX. So you see your markup as well as your JavaScript in the same file. It makes it very easy, right? If you want to make any changes, you can also include CSS if you want, but mostly we keep it outside in some CSS or SAS file, right? So that makes it very easy. We can encapsulate one functionality or one component into one single file. Okay, just to give you an example, right? Let me show you a quick a component. Okay, so you go here. Okay, I have say this sample. Okay, so you see we have some import statement which is like ES6, and along with that we have some markup here, right? This markup is not in some double code or anything, it's just a markup. So this is basically JSX. JSX is used to create React elements, right? This is the only thing you need to know before we get started. You will see how it is different, what is the advantage, and how it will is going to help us. Okay, so let me get back to the presentation. Okay, yeah. So JSX is same as HTML markup. It's just uh, it is different in a way that it can be encapsulated with the React code. Okay, and there are some minor differences like attributes in HTML, right? Say is camel case in JSX that we'll see in some time. Okay. Okay, one more thing. So when you create your React project, right? Basically, um, I mean, the code is we write a code in ES6, right? So these are the JavaScript version. So the previous JavaScript version, right? It is ES5 where we had all these modules, right? We used to create function, and from the function we used to create object, right? Like a if you want to create a object of a person, right? First we will write function person. Under that function will define the attributes of the person and the method, right? But when this ECMAScript 2015 came, right, it gave us the flexibility to create a classes in JavaScript, right? And if you see today, there are features available which are in ECMAScript ES12, right? So, but the thing is like current browsers, right? The browser which we have today, like Chrome, Firefox, Edge, it doesn't support latest version of JavaScript. All right. It only supports ES5, like the previous version of JavaScript, right? Then then there's a problem, right? If you write a React project and you use ES6 like feature like creating classes, right? How the browser is going to support that, because the browser still support ES5, right? uh, to support that, right, to support ES6 in our browser, we need something which will convert our code from ES6 or ES7, right? We will take this code and convert it into ES5. So there are some libraries for that, like Babel. We use Babel to convert our code, latest code, into the older version of JavaScript so that our browser can support it, right? Now the question is like, why do we want to do that, right? Why can't I write my code into the previous version of JavaScript? Then we don't need this uh, conversion, right? And the project will be much more faster, right? But the thing is like, as I said, right, when you work on the project where time to market is very important, you want to finish your project as quickly as possible, right? Latest version of JavaScript gives you the ability to use the latest feature, like you can just use functional programming, right? You can loop your array very like there are already methods available. There are features which if you use, it'll make your life very easy as a programmer, right? It's right. So this will save you time, and this is the future. At one point of time, right, all these browser will start supporting the latest version of JavaScript. At that time, what we can do, we can just remove that translator or trans converter, right, from the latest version to the previous version, and our code will still work fine. The JavaScript which is supported by browsers. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So so far we saw like what is JSX, okay, and what is uh, what are different JavaScript versions, right? So let's move on. Okay, yeah. So like when I personally what editor I use for my coding and for my projects, and the answer is very simple actually. Visual Studio Code. Why do we use Visual Studio Code for front-end development or the front-end projects? So for a very long time, right, I was stuck with Atom and Sublime. I used to like it. I know all the shortcuts, and it was very easy to use for me. But I mean, I realized it very late. Visual Studio, the power the Visual Studio have, right? You can connect to Git. It is easy to live share. There are so many plugins available which makes your life easy. And believe me, when you are a developer, you can get as much as help as possible. It makes your life easy, right? So then when I moved from Atom to Visual Studio, that time I realized like what I was missing. Okay, and so and one more thing is like Visual Studio Code, right? It's like a editor. So we have this full-fledged Visual Studio IDE and like text editors like Atom and Sublime. So Visual Studio Code gives you midway, right? So I'm not sure like what uh, code editor do you use, but I'll highly recommend to use Visual VS Code. It makes your life very easy. Okay. Yeah, so these are some feature which Visual Studio Code provides, right? You can do a source control, right? I mean, it's very easy. You can see who made changes, right? You can see your changes. You can see your local changes. If you use Git, it gives you that diff, right? Right. We also have this Git lens available, right? You can see all the commits. You can compare the commits. You can see blame history, right? Uh, yeah, live share. So this is one of the plugin with VS Code. Live share. What do we do with the live share, right? Suppose you want to edit like 50 files in one project, right? And there are multiple developers. So obviously, if you are working on the same files as I'm working on, right, it will create merge conflicts, right? If you're doing a live share, right, you can just you install a live share at your end. I can connect to your IDE. I can make file changes on your computer, all right? And once we are done, we'll just test it and we can just commit it to our Git, all right? So it makes your life very easy. I mean, if you should try this like with your peer. You should try this code bookmarking, right? Suppose you are working on three different function in three different files and you want to jump to those functions. You can bookmark. It's really good. Debugging, you can debug live, like you can load your application in Chrome, and if some condition hits, it will it will add a breakpoint into your IDE, and you will be redirected to your IDE immediately. So like, I mean, these are some amazing tools which makes your life really easy. Also, like these are the most I mean, these are the plugins which I'll recommend. ESLint, like suppose, so when you work in the project, right, the most like the problem we see is like if there are two developer like me and Zia is working on some JavaScript file, I'll add a tab and Zia might add a space, right? But it creates a problem, right? It means the different files in your project have a different formatting, right? Some people add opening braces right after the function, some add in the different line. Those all problems can be solved with ESLint, right? You just configure your project, what form like coding formats you want to use, and you just save it and done. I mean, it's available. Let me give you an idea. So suppose somebody is writing their code like this. Okay, so okay, and so this is not the obviously not the right way to write a single lines of code, right? The only thing I need to do to save this is format, and it will format, right? Right, so we can define all these things in our project in our IDE, and that takes care of it. They also have an option like as soon as you save or commit your changes to the Git, it will format your file, and you don't have to even format that. It will happen behind the curtains. Okay. Similarly, in Git lens, if you use Git, if you put your code to the Git, it makes your life easy. And there are some path IntelliSense, Prettier. These are really good extension to be used when you work on any project. Okay. Let's move on to the next. Okay. Um, when you want to work with React, right? This is very you need to make a decision where how do you want to create your React project. Basically, I don't call it as a React project. It's ultimately it's a JavaScript project, right? So there are two ways to create a React project, and if you get this, this is only one-time activity. So if you're starting to work on any React project, and if you cross this hurdle, rest of the thing is very easy. Understanding React is, and there is a concept is very easy. It's just there is some concept you need to learn before you reach there, right? Creating React project is one of them, right? So there are some challenges, right? You have two options. Either you can use the option which is like ready-made available. You can just use one command and the project will be up and running for you. You can either use that. It's called create React app, or you have an option to configure your own project, which has both plus and minus. So we can consider this as like if you want to buy a house, right? What options do we have? We have like two or three options. Either you go to a builder and pay for the apartment or flat and you buy the flat, right? Second option you have is like you can build your own home. Now you can imagine, right? There are the amount of work involved in building your own home. You need to buy a land, find a contractor, right? Get an engineer for the designing your home, right? And you need to follow up, see the progress, right? um, that I mean, but at the end when your house is ready, you know in and out of your house, like what material is used, how is the design, where from um, where are the pipes, where the electricity switches, right? You know everything, right? So that has, but if you go with that route, right, it will take a time. It You might save some money, but it will take some time. But if you don't have time, you will have to pay more amount, but you can directly buy a flat from the builder. Same concept applies to React project, right? Either you can use the ready-made created React app, all right, or you can build your own project. So we'll see both. I'll try to set up the project live. You can see it. If you have any question, you can ask me. Okay. But there are some prerequisites. Okay. So to work with any JavaScript project, right? So this is the a standard I've seen so far across multiple projects. I've worked for so many projects, right? And this is like basic. If you work on any JavaScript project, this is what you will touch, right? And it's fine if you don't know any of this, but I think this is the right time to get to know these libraries and technologies, and this will really help you in future with any framework you want to use, Vue.js or Angular, right? This is something which is like which is being used in um, tech companies, right? So obviously CSS, JavaScript. So as I said, right, we have this ES5, ES6. So, and we also have the latest version is I think ES11 or ES12, right? So they are keep adding feature into JavaScript. Just find out what is the latest feature in JavaScript and try to use it. It will make your code look very good. It will be and it'll make your life very easy. It will save you time. And if you save time, you can use that time for something else. Then we have something called as a Webpack. So what happens, right, when you build any project, right, we need to deploy that, take that code and deploy it somewhere, right? What Webpack does, right, it bundles the code for us, right? Say suppose you have 100 components and you have like so many JavaScript files and JSX files in your project, or suppose you're using TypeScript, right? Webpack will combine all these files and it will create a bundle. That bundle you can deploy it in the production, right? So we can use Webpack for that. Webpack has like we can work with Webpack. It also have the API, but it also have the command line. You can just type a command on your prompt, right? Webpack and some send some parameters, and it will perform the task for you, right? So that way it's really powerful tool. If you know this, you will be in a you're at a very good position. Then we have Git. So Git can be used remotely or locally, right? I would highly recommend that you start using Git. This way you can track your changes. Say suppose you make any change, right? You can just commit it and you have that in history. So if you're trying to fix any problem, and you have a separate git commit for that, you can anytime go back and check at that commit, and you will know what fix you added for that problem. Right? We have this GitLab. You can, so this is a, you can use Git in at local and send your project into GitHub or GitLab. For our project, we are using GitLab. We are not using GitHub, but they are almost the same thing, and everything is available for free. Even if you don't have a paid account, they allow you to have some projects for free. This is ESLint, prettier. It just makes your code looks good. So if you are working on a bigger team, bigger project, there are multiple developers. Basically, this will help you to resolve the conflicts, right? Yeah, everyone's code will look same, right? Nobody will have their own standard, right? It makes your project looks easier, and it's very easy to maintain the code. Suppose if some developer left the company, right? You can check his code, and you'll find it easy to debug that code, right? It makes code very reusable. Then TypeScript, right? You can just add a type strict checks for JavaScript. This is the ID code editor I talked about. Right, so Node and npm, right? It helps you set up your dev environment. We will use it, and we'll see how to set up a React project. Okay, so go back. Okay, okay, so let's see. Yep. So now, when we talk about setting up the React project, right? So suppose now you don't know anything about React and you want to just get started. So this is your first learning. To set up a project, right? You can build your project from the ground up, from the scratch, like empty folder. You start adding files, you start installing some packages, and you will get there where you can deploy your React application locally, and you'll be able to work with React. Or you can use create React app, right? Suppose you're using a create React app and you want your some customization on top of your project, you can just run npm eject, and it will give you all the inside configuration which you can edit or override, right? So it's very flexible. Um, so let's see, let's try to build our first project in React. Okay, so so let me go back here. Okay, so mm, okay, let me create a directory. Oh, let me increase the font. You can basically, so you can guys can see it. Okay, okay. So the like first step to create any project, right? Any JavaScript project, we can use npm init. Okay, npm. Okay, so the prerequisite, right? I already have Node and npm installed. Let's see which version I have. Okay, so I'm running version 14 for Node, and for npm I have, okay, version 6, which is good enough. It might happen that somebody in your team might use it, might be on a different version of Node or npm, but that is fine, because when we deploy the project to QA environment or production, right? We have the CI/CD which builds the project again with the like with the pre determined Node version, so we are all good. You can be on the different version. That should not be a problem. Okay, so okay, let's initialize our project npm init. Okay, so when we run npm init, right, basically it will create a package.json for us, right? So let me go to, okay, let's fill this information, and then we will see which file it will generate. So okay, the project name is, let's say, uh, React project. Then it's asking which version. If I don't specify any version number, it will take 1.0.0 by default, which is fine. I'll just hit enter. Description, I'll say okay. Entry point, if I don't specify, by default it will take index.js. Test command, I don't have any test command. Maybe we can come back to this later. Git repository, I don't have it. This project is not on Git, so I'll skip it. Keyword, so I mean, if you specify key, it will make it easy to search your project. We can skip it for now. Author, license, I'll skip it. Okay, so at this folder we already got package.json. Okay, let's see how it looks. um, New window. Okay, and I'll try to open. Okay, this is a project, right? See, okay, let me open this. I need to say, okay, so if all this information is correct, we'll just say yes, this is all good. As soon as I say yes, it will create this package.json, and you see we got all the information. I gave author my name, and so this is our first file in our project. Okay, so now let me just move this window. Okay, so when we create any project, right, all the project have two type of dependency, right? One dependency is only for us, which will help us in the development. Like we can have a local dev server where you can deploy the file just for the testing, right? Or and the second dependency is like something which becomes a part of production, right? So suppose we want, this is a React project, right? So we need to install React, right? And React DOM. So let's install that. Okay, I already have a command here. Okay, okay, npm install. I'll say I want to install React. Okay, let's install the React. Okay, done. Let's go back. Okay, you see that npm command added this dependency, and it says, and it will always install the latest version of React. So the latest version is 17.0, right, which is pretty good. And this is being added as a dependency. To work with React, right, we need one more React library is called React DOM, right? So I'll just so React DOM is something like a React create a virtual DOM. So we don't have to work with the actual DOM, right? Because if you perform, if you add or remove anything from the HTML, like the browser DOM, it is very expensive. It takes time. That is taken away by the virtual DOM. We'll talk about it, but for just to add that library, right? We'll install that too. It's called npm install React DOM, or I can also just say npm I install. Okay, so now it's here. So you see now React DOM is installed. Again, it's 17. version 17. You see in the node module, right? We got a React and React DOM along with some other dependencies. Okay. Next thing. So remember I told you like when we work on the our project right locally, we might want to deploy this on a local server to test our changes. Also, we need to bundle our file, right? So for that we'll need Webpack. So let's try to install this. For this we'll need Webpack CLI is command line, and we will have Webpack dev server. Webpack dev server is like you can run your project in localhost. Okay, so let's try to install this. Sorry, 1 second. npm we will install, but we will install this dependency as a dev dependency. This code from this library will not go to production because we don't need that code to go into production. We are only installing this for a help, like for the uh, development purpose. So what do we need? We need Webpack. We need one more library called Webpack CLI, and we need Webpack dev server. Okay, we'll try to get all this. And because we are loading this as a dev dependency, it should go into the different package. Okay, by the time it's loading, let me go here and okay, it's not updated, right? Okay, by the time it's installing, do you guys have any question? Okay. Uh, let's see how much is remaining. Okay, so we are getting some error. Let me see why. Okay. Oh, so it's complaining about something about Xcode because I'm on Mac and I don't have Xcode installed or I don't use it. But yeah, I think I can ignore this and it's completed, right? So let me go back to packages. And I don't know if you see that. Let me increase the font. Okay. Yeah, see. So when I installed React or React DOM, you see, those are added as a dependencies, right? But when I installed Webpack CLI, and Webpack Dev Server, right, these libraries are added as a dev dependency, right? One thing could happen, right? If two people are working on the same project, they could have a different version of this library, right? To solve, I mean, that problem doesn't exist unless we have the version mentioned in the package.json, right? And if you want the same library, the only thing I have to do is like I have to just send you this one file, and everyone in the team, right, they will have the same dependency installed. So that's a very good that's a purpose of package JSON, right? Because what it helps, right? Let me show you the size of this project. Yes, see. So I'll say get info. I was still calculating the size, but see the size is huge, right? So if we are working on the same project, right? I don't have to send you the node module folder. I can just send you one package.json, which is like in few KBs, right? And we'll be all on the same library. It's only 430 bytes, right? So it saves you a lot of space. Okay, so let's go to the next. Okay, so we got the Webpack to bundle our project and deploy it, right? This will bundle your project, and with this we can use the command on the command line, and Webpack dev server will help us deploy our code on the local server so we can test it. One more thing, we need one more thing, which is Babel, right? So as I told you, right, when you work with the React, basically we'll be coding our components into ES6, right? Or the higher version of the JavaScript, right? And the browser doesn't support that. So we will use this library. These are called right. So this library will help us transpile the JavaScript into the compatible version of JavaScript. And this is very interesting. Let me show you something. So there is one site here. If you go here, oh, this is for the preset. Let me go and try. Okay, try it out. Okay, so if you come here, right, where is it? Okay, so this site will, they have a this try it out. It will show you how does it transpile your code into the previous version of JavaScript, right? So suppose in the ES6 we have something called as import, right? So I'll say import React from React. See, so basically the browser doesn't understand this line. So the Babel will convert this piece of line, right, into something like this, which looks complicated, right? Um, right, and this is just one line. Suppose I want to write a class in JavaScript. I'll say class uh, my component extends. See, right? So again, it is converting into the class, but it's using some reference, right? So let me write one more thing, some function inside this. Oh, right, so you will see how this code is getting compiled into the previous version of JavaScript. You can just play, you can write your function here in ES6 or ES7. You can use some feature from ES8, ES12, and see how that code is getting translated into ES5. So this is a very good link. I'll leave this link in the presentation, so maybe you can try it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll install this packages. Let me just copy this. Okay. Okay, so we got this installed. Let's see if, okay, dependencies got installed, right? Okay, now we need just one more thing is called, okay, so we are good. When we add this, right, we need to update our package.json and we need to just declare the presets. You don't need to know this, but you can just Google it out and you will find this format on the React documentation or maybe on the Babel documentation. We need to add this object, right? So basically we are telling our React project to use which presets, right? Presets is basically it allows you to use the latest version of JavaScript, and you don't have to worry if it is compatible with the previous version. It will just let you use those presets. So we are adding these two presets for the JavaScript and for React. Okay, let's just save it. And I think after that we just need to we just need one more package we need to install. We'll say npm I. Again, it's a dev dependency, and oh, sorry, this is, okay, that package is called html. Okay, so right now we got everything what we want to build our first React project. Okay, now you see, right, we have to do so much work just to set up our project, right? After this, we'll see how easy it is to just use create React app, because when you want to focus on your development, right, you want to just write a component and you don't want to worry about all this installing all these packages. There is an easy way to do that, but if you know this, we know what is behind the scene and we'll be more confident when we make any changes. Okay, so we got everything here. There is one thing still missing, and that is, so when we add Webpack, right, when we bundle our file, we also need to add one file here, one dependent file where we need to provide some configuration for the webpack package, right? But so when we install this package, we need to add one file, and we can call that file as webpack.config.js. Okay. Okay, so let's build this, right? So basically, so in the Node.js, right, there is a variable called path. So it will give you your current project path. Let's include that. Okay, so we got path. Okay, then we need to provide all the configuration for this webpack, right? So let's start. It's very easy, and we will make it very quick. So module.export. Yep, this module.export will take all the configuration we need for our project to run. Okay, the first thing. So now let's start adding the code to our for our application, right? First, I'll create a folder which I call as a source. So all my code will be in this folder, right? Let me select this folder and add our first file. I'll call it as a index.html. Okay. Then I'll add one more file, and I'll say index.js. You remember this file, we just left it blank. So if you go to your package.json, yeah, it says main as a index.js, right? Basically, this will refer to this file. So okay, we added both the file. Now let me go to index.html. Add so in Visual Studio Code, we already have this boilerplates available, right? I can just select HTML5 and done. I'm done, right? So for okay, so there are some browsers which does not support any script. Like it is always a good idea just to mention some message. If the browser doesn't support any script, we'll just add a message for them saying that, oh, what happened. Okay, now we are ready. So let me add one div with the name of say root. Okay, so that's it. I don't want to add anything else, right? This is our index.html. The only thing we added is just one div tag, right? And with the id root, and we are good. Okay, now let me go to index dot. Okay, what happened here? Delete this. Okay. Okay, so let's write our first React uh, file. Uh, so we need to import two libraries, React and React DOM, which we added as a dependencies. Okay, let's include them. Import React, and we'll also take import React DOM. Okay, from React. Okay, so for now we are just using this one package. So okay, done. Now so in the index.html, right, we just have one div. What we'll do, we'll just create one simple hello world or um, text message, and we will append that message to our root tag. Okay, so let's write that. So we need to render that component into the root element, right? For that, we'll just say react dom dot render. Okay, and so it takes a component and where we want to render it. So it will be a plain JavaScript document dot get element by ID, and what will be the ID? It will be a root. Okay, and here we need to add that. And now we'll add our React JSX component. I'll just say div. That's it. So it is as simple as this, right? So there are a few things happening here, right? And this thing we need to do it only once. I'll show you why. Because when we create a DOM, right, we just need a one entry point to our index.html, and that entry point is our render function, right? What I can do, I can just add one component here, and all other React component will be part of the this main component, and that will make our life very easy. So basically what we have done so far, right, it is just one-time job creating um, JSON package, right, installing all these dependencies, React dependencies, creating index.html and this is just one time job. After this, once you are done with the project setup, you might have to come back and make some changes, but those will be very minor changes. Okay, so and this is the JSX. Basically it is creating a React element. It it seems like a HTML, but basically this is it's a JSX, and it is creating a React element. Okay, that's it, and we are done. Okay, now let's try to run this. Let me go to here. You see, by default, when we install, um, when we create a package.json, right, it gives us this test thing, right? So what we can do, I can just say npm run test. See, it's printing the same thing, which is here, right? So whatever command, so let's add one more command. With that command, right, we'll try to run our application. We go back here. One second. Final project. Okay, everything is here. Save it. Give me 1 second. Let me open the previous project so I can get that copy command. Okay. Okay. We can directly run this using Webpack server and this dev mode, right? Or we can add this script name start, and it will help us run this command. Let me go back to the terminal, clear this. Let's try to run this. Okay, it's failed. Unexpected token. Let's see what is that. Oh, so I'm adding it from the React, which is wrong. It should be React DOM. Okay, one more error. Oh, there is no loader configured, right? So because our Webpack config is still not ready, right? So let me just copy this from here, and I can walk you over that. Okay, So this is our Webpack config, and we are doing a very minimum thing here, right? So I'll walk you through this config file, Webpack config, what we are actually doing here. So basically, we are telling the Webpack which to bundle our project, and we are telling the Webpack saying that our starting point of our application, right? The first file which they can find is the entry point of the project is something as called as index.js, which is in uh, source folder, right? And we are saying when the webpack is will bundle our file, we want to name it as index.bundle. We can give it any name, is fine, right? And the folder, it will create a folder, it's called distribution folder, right? So once, and it will copy all the bundle file into this folder, distribution folder, so that we can just take that code and put it into and deploy it anywhere, into QA environment, into production, right? So I mean, and this configuration is very basic. You can find it on the Webpack website. So 1 second, let me show you. Yeah, this is a very good documentation. It gives you like, it start from the basic, but you can do complex thing using Webpack. It's really powerful, the things you can achieve, right? You can just go over this and you will see what how the bundling is done, and what all options are available. Okay, so coming back, okay, so we specified the entry file. For in our case, it is index.js. The name could be anything. The output, where do we want the package to be built, right? And then we are specifying some rules. So what I'm saying here, right? I'm saying that uh, whatever whenever you find any JS file, right, use Babel loader, which is installed in our dependency, right here. Let me update this, go back to terminal, break it, and okay, so what I'm doing, right, I just added some more libraries. To build, we needed this library, Babel loader, right? It will take all the files and it will try to compile it. So we will say whenever you find JS file, we will use this library and we'll try to build a chunk.js which can be deployed to any environment. We are currently in the development mode. So I mean that there are like uh, different modes. Like you can develop your project into development mode, or it can be a production mode. When the project is into a production mode, basically we can apply all the minification, so that the produce file in the distribution folder, it will be of minimum size. Like it will not be very heavy, it will be very difficult to uh, debug, right? I mean, nobody can just open it and read the content of the file. In the development mode, right, it is easy to debug the file. You can see the content, you can provide the format. If you are stuck somewhere, you'll be able to see the code, right? You can add debuggers. That makes it very easy. This plugin, right, HTML Webpack plugin, basically whenever the file HTML file name is index.html, basically you don't have to specify that name. I'll show you in that in some time. Basically, if you we can just skip it. If I say localhost dot colon port 3000, enter, I don't have to specify the file name, which is index.html. Okay, let's see if it is done. Okay, npm. Okay, so it is building it correctly. And if you see the comments, right, the project is running at localhost 8080. Let me go here and see, and we are getting our first. Okay, let me increase the font. Okay, so let me go back to the project. Okay, so close everything. Okay, so if you see, basically we added only 4 files. First, we started with package JSON, where we start specifying all these dependency, React, React DOM, and all these dev dependencies, right? Then, once we installed Webpack, we got Webpack config, and we don't have to worry about this. It might take some time to understand the configuration. We can go to Webpack site and we'll find all this configuration, right? But this is the minimum configuration you need to run your React project in development mode. So we got this configuration. After that, we added only two files, uh, index.html, which is our main uh, uh, HTML file. Here we just added one div. Basically, this div will hold your React uh, project, right? Uh, what we can do, right? Suppose instead of this one tag, I can create one parent React project, or the sorry component, or the main React component. I'll just say app. Okay, and this app component will contain the entire project, like all the components we write. Like I can add folder here, I can add 10 components. This component will hold the remaining 10 components. So that's how the flow is. Okay, so this was our main tag in the HTML, and we are appending hello world from here, right? So this is how we set up uh, React project in the hard way. Okay, now if you get this, basically this was the toughest part. After this, understanding React components concept is way too easy. Okay, now let's do the same thing in easy way. Okay, let me close everything. Okay, before we move, right, do you guys have any question? Did you okay, so let me ask you some question. Have you guys built any JavaScript project before? Anyone? um, okay, Suraj, you want to go? Okay, guys, just feel free to ask your question, because my only intention, right, is to make you guys very comfortable with the React, right? Because after this, you should be able to pick up any concept of React, build any component. You'll find it very easy. Okay, so let's move on. But if you have any question, please feel free to stop me. I'm ready to answer any question. Okay. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so this was our project, which was in a way difficult to set up. Now I'll show you a very easy way to build a React project. Okay, let me close this. Okay, now go back, go back, and let's. Okay, now let me create a. Okay, let me even close this. Close this. Okay, this. Okay, now clear everything. Okay, now we'll create a React project, and now we'll create a React project using create React app. Okay, so let me create a directory first. Okay, the command is npmx create React app, and we will name it as a. Okay, now I think that's it. So we are just we are using the create React app with the npm command, npx command, and we are providing the name of our project. Let me hit enter. Okay, meantime let me create new project. Okay, you guys see it already created one folder for us with the same name which we gave here, the project name. Okay, almost there. So all the installation we have done so far, all the packages we have installed, we have created index.html, index.js. In this way, we don't have to do anything. The only thing we did is like just ran this one command, npm npx create react app and the project name. That's it. And this will do everything for us. Again, I'm getting the same error for Xcode because I'm using Mac, but I'm going to ignore this. This should not affect us. Done, right? That's it. We didn't do anything. We just ran one command and we got everything. So let me see. Okay. So after running this command, we got the directory. The project directory is called my React project. Let me go to this folder, my React project, enter. Okay. Now, did you realize it's saying master, right? Because when we create a project from the create React app, I think it is also initializing the Git repository, right? So now let me open my code editor. This is very easy command. So when you are in some folder, right, and you want to open your node, sorry, a Visual Studio Code, you can just install this code dot and it will open the same project here, right? And it's very easy. I mean, it's really helpful tool. You should, you guys should have it, okay? And it's very easy to configure. I think I added this somewhere. Let me go back to my presentation. Okay, we'll talk about that. Okay, so now we created this project. Uh, we opened this project into our IDE and see we have everything what we need. We have this README. You can go over this. This has really some basic information. The best way to learn React, right, is to just go to Facebook, their homepage, React homepage, and just read the basic. You will find the amazing documentation. They have done really some good work in terms of documentation. It's very easy to understand. Okay, so let's open our first file, package.json. You see, so we are getting this ready-made, right? Project name is my React project, and the version is 0.1.0. There are some other attributes, but see the dependency. This is what we want to see, right? And dependencies is installing some testing library, right? And one we are interested in is React and React DOM, right? And the React script. I'll explain this later, but for just to keep things simple, right? We got what we wanted. We got React and React DOM, and we are ready to work with our uh, on our React project, right? Along with this, right, there are some scripts which are already there, right? So if you want to start, so under package.json, right, when you see scripts, these are the commands which we can run from the command prompt. So on Visual Studio Code, we have this shortcut, right? Control and that tilde sign. Okay, I'll open this and let's see. I'll run this test command. Let's see. Um, oh, let me run this start command and see what happened. Before that, it is using ESLint. There is some browser which is supported, right, for production and development. That's it. It's pretty. And one thing which you will notice, we don't see any Webpack configuration here, right? And you also don't see Babel, right? Or loader, right? And we don't have anything here. Why is that? Those libraries are present, but it is hidden from us, right? We are only seeing the simplest form of package.json. Let me expand this node module and see what all packages are installed. So you see ESLint is here. Let me check. What was that? Webpack. See, Webpack is already installed here, right? But we don't see it in the package.json because this is hidden from us, right? This is something which we need. So Create React app is doing a wonderful job of hiding all the complexity from developer, because we don't want to, like, you can get involved into uh, like how this thing deployment work, how to build the local server, how to deploy the changes to local server, right? But all those complexities are hidden from us, and makes things very easy. Let me check if we have Babel. Oh, see, Babel is also installed, which we don't see it here because it's hidden from us, right? So that will work in our favor. Let me close this. Oh, let me close this. Okay. Now, okay. So this is a package.json. Now let me open this source folder. Okay, in source folder, we have some files already added. We have index.js. We have this component. Uh, we have some Lego, uh, sorry, logo SVG, and we have this public folder. So you see, they have added this index.html in the public folder, right? Let me open this. So, okay, it is some template like available, and they also have this div tag and the no script, right? So who don't support scripting will see the error. Otherwise, they also have this one div tag, right? So we already got everything. Now let's do one thing. We will run this project and see how to deploy this project, right? So tilde. Okay, now I'll use this command to start this project. I just need to say npm run start. Okay, so it is building. Okay, so it is saying that compiled successfully, right? And the local is available on localhost 3000. Let me open this, and we have our application, right? It is that simple. I mean, it took us like 5 minutes to set up this project, right? But now you have a better understanding how this works behind the scene, right? That's what you needed, right? Now we can just like start exploring React and different concept in React. From this point of onwards, it's only React, and you will enjoy it, like, because you already know how it works. Okay, now let's explore this and see how it is working. So you see, we have this div element, HTML element. I open this, and we have this something called as a class app, right? And then we have some header. You see the header component basically contains everything, header section. Then we have this image, which is SVG. Then we have some paragraph, and one link is here, right? Learn React. Let me click this. It takes you to the React documentation. Getting started is the best way to start learning about React. Okay. Now let's go back and check this structure, how it is implemented. Let me close this. So let me go back to package.json and see what is the entry point. Uh, okay, that is also hidden from us, but as we already know, the entry point is index.js, right? Let me open this. So we did the same thing, right? And we had React DOM.render, which is basically rendering this a React element. We don't need this. Let me remove this. It will make things simple. Okay. So basically, we just have one app component, right? Let me open this and see how it is implemented. So from index file, we are now jumping to app.js, right? And this is where the entire code is, right? And one good thing about setting up with Create React App, right? We see the how hot deployment. So suppose this it says learn React, right? And this is some text, and this is logo. If I don't want that, I can just simply remove it. So I don't want this image. I don't want this. Let me remove the image and let me remove this link. Okay, see, as soon as I save this, see what happened. Let me open the prompt. I'm going to save this. You see the file is saved. Oh, I did not delete properly. Deleted. I don't want this format. Okay, as soon as I save this file, see what happens. Done. Right now, let me change this text. As soon as I save this, the icon will change, and see, this will deploy here. So this is a hot deployment. As soon as you make any change, you can come back and you will see your changes. So that's how you set up React project, right? And we are at a very good place to start learning about different concepts of React, like how we create components. So let me just walk you over a few things. Like, so this is what we need to learn next. How do we render the element, right? Then components. What are components, right? So in React, there are like two types of component. Basically, this is what they ask you in interview, right? We have class component and functional component. What is the difference? And right, which one is better? Should I use class component or should I use function component, right? Then there are different type also, which is like a state component, stateless component, right? Then there are connected component, disconnected components, right? There are many things. Then we can talk about states, we can talk about props, component lifecycle, right? How does components is created? How do we update it? How do we destroy it, right? Then we have error boundaries, we have context, events, hooks. There are many things, right? So now we got that background and we are ready to learn all this new concept in React. Okay, so maybe you can try this. I mean, I'll share the link with Zia. Maybe he'll share the link with you guys. It's very easy. Just follow. Um, you can try both create React app and setting up the project on your own and see what difficulties you face. And if you have any problem, you can send a email. I mean, mail to me. Let me go back to my presentation. Okay, the best way to reach me is to just email me on Gmail, or you can also send me a message on Twitter, and I'll try to solve your problem or answer any queries I can. Okay, so I think we have gone. I mean, we have gone over some heavy stuff. If you guys want to ask any question, if you have any doubt or you have any any question you want to clarify any concept, you can ask me. Okay. Tomorrow we can continue, like, and we'll go over all the concept, right? How to create components. We'll start looking into the components, and yeah, there are many more things. Okay, so let me just take a pause. Let me have some water. 1 second. Okay. Yep. So let's just do one quick thing. We will try to add our own component, right? I'll just show you how to add a component. So if you want to go back and practice making components, we can do that. Okay, let's me go. And so basically this app component, right, is added at the same level. So it is very difficult to say which one is the main file and which one is the component. So what we can do to improve this, right? I can create a folder and I'll call it as a components. Okay, let me add this all this app file into a component. Move. Okay, now because we have changed the path of the component, right, the application should break. We should see some error. Yep, so it is complaining that the app is not available under the source directory, right? So we need to go and update few parts. Okay, first thing is here, uh, components. Under components we have app, so this is good. Then we have one more place. I think we also moved the CSS, right? Let's add the component. This should be good because we already moved it. And the last one is, yeah, this is also good. Wait, let me check. Okay, it's also complaining about one more thing. Logo SVG. Let's see where are we using it. What is that? Oh, okay, because we moved this file right into some folder. We need to go to parent. So I think, yep, we need to go one level up, which is good. Okay, this is good. Logo is different but never used. Okay, let's see why. Hmm. It's fine. I got this. Yep. Okay, so yeah, so we just move the component, right? If you want to add your own component, we can follow the same thing. Like, see, so this the way this app.js is implemented, right? Basically, this is a perfect example of a functional component. We are not including any React library here. Basically, what we have here is just a component, just a function which is returning some JSX. So if we try to add our own component, right? Let me add one file here and we'll call it as a my component.js. Okay. Basically, what we need to do here is we just need to write function. Let me use the same name. Okay. And what we need to do in this, right? In this, we just need to return some JSX. I'll say return. Okay. Similarly, what we have here, right? We have this return parenthesis, and under that, we just need some JSX, like which create some React elements and just return it. So, and the entire component should be in one container. In this case, it's a div tag, div element. We can have anything. Okay. Let me say and say, okay. So it's we have this component. It's returning something, and now let's go to our app, and we will include that folder here, that component here. So under this, I can say, right, it's here. One more thing, like when you add any in ES6, right, when you add any function or any class, and you want that you want to use that function or a class into some other file, right? Basically, we need to export that component. The best way to do that is like just to add this export default and the component name. Let's do the same thing for our component. uh, this is the best way to format. Say export default and the component name, right? By doing this, basically what we are doing, we are just making our component available outside this file. So now I can close this. Okay. Oh, my components, where is the mistake? Oh, yeah. I need this. Yep. So this is our first component. So just a simple plain functional component. One more thing we can do that, right? You see, I'm using a old JavaScript format. If you want, we can convert this into a ES6 function. And the way to do that, right, is like just we can create a constant, and I don't need this function. I'll just say this is my, because that's why we call our JavaScript as a first class function, right? In JavaScript, functions are first class function. It means the function can be used as a variable name, right? And we will use this ES6 syntax, right? That's it. It is good, and this should still work, right? So I just converted my component into ES6, and this is how easy it is to create a function components in React. Okay, so I'll leave you with that, and you can go back, practice. And if you have any question or any doubt, please feel free to reach out, and you can email me or just um, send me a chat message, and I'll try to answer all your questions. Okay, so I think we that's all for today. It's